All right, coaches, third and final part of the first session of blocking buck. Okay. The blocking buck versus any front. It was the first talk that I gave Saturday morning at Rogers Clinic in 2023. This one deals with buck drills. All right, let's get started. All right, I got a few buck drills for you. We didn't get into them in detail. These are actually taken from my big book of bucks that you can order from me. Um, it's one of the few things that I actually charge for because it took me so long. It took me several months to put it together, and also it just, well, years of just coaching experience, and it's $20. I mean, like my wife said, "Are you sure you're going to sell it that cheap?" And I thought it was kind of high, but I'm just old country boy. $20 is still $20 to me. But also, too, don't forget my YouTube channel. Some of you are watching this on my YouTube channel. Some of you, I'm going to share this to you through Huddle. Please go to my Football Talk with Coach Chip channel and subscribe, even if you don't watch. But if you go around there and shop around a little bit, you might find something. I say shop, and everything on there is free, and just kind of peruse the channel, and there'll be something on there that you'll get something out of. Remember, there's my phone number and there is my email address. Do not hesitate to contact me. I'm retired. This is what I do. I'm sitting here. It is about noon on the Monday after the clinic. It's noon 30, and I've been working on these videos. This is what I want to do. And it's one of the reasons I stepped away from classroom teaching, so I could do what I wanted to do in the time that I have left on this earth that God has given me. When I realized financially that we could handle it, my wife said, "Do it." We made the jump. I do go around doing motivational speaking to groups of young people and some older people too, and consult with coaches and still coach during football season. And 2 or 3 days a week, I go over and help them out in the weight room. But that's what I want to do. By the way, if you want to contact me by phone, text me first so I can save your number. My phone's one of those that sends it straight to spam if you're not saved in the phone. And I don't know how to change it. I've had people say, "Oh, I can fix that for you." No, this phone's probably on its last legs anyway. I've had it a couple of years. You know how them things are. All right, let's get started looking at buck drills. I'm not going to read all the descriptions verbatim. You can pause it and look at it yourself. All right, let's go. All right, buck drill for the play side puller. What we do is we just take a bag and a cone, and if you want to use players here, you can. I've had bags, or what I really love to use more than cones or anything like that, or the practice vests, the pennies, because if they step on them, they won't trip on them. They won't sprain an ankle. And I also like the little short cones, the real flat ones, because again, they step on them, they just kick them over. Some of the bigger cones can cause some issues, and I'd hate to know that doing drill work caused a kid to twist an ankle. But anyway, what we do, we put the cone back, and really that's not deep enough because you want to overdo it. Remember, we talked about in the clinic session, we talked about how so maybe you need to overdo it in practice to get what you want. Remember the analogy I used about the option when I used to say the pitch relationship back when we ran split back veer and bone and ran the triple. I'd say 45 yards and I wouldn't get it. So I just said, screw it. I said, "Hey man, give me 8 yards on pitch relationship." And I got my 4 or 5. So overdo your drills. I've always stressed that, to over exaggerate your movements, your techniques in drill work. But you see, you got the skip pull. Remember, skip pull, you're going to leave that play side foot still in the ground on the snap, push off with the inside foot, do a crossover behind crossover, karaoke behind it, and then bring the play side foot in front where you're square, and then you flip your hips. And you say, "Why do that on the puller?" First off, I want to be consistent with both pulls. But second, when I started doing it, I realized when they skip pull and they're square, it could get them downhill better. So when they get that force man squeezing, okay, they can make that block better and pin his butt inside. And also when they're coming downhill, notice that I want them as close to that bag as they can. And that's hugging the rump line. This is the rump line. This is the down block. And they want to come right here. And as that guy, the force comes up out here, just flip your hips and kick him to the sideline. And so you want to get a good skip pull. All right, like I said, I'm not going to read all this. You can pause it and read it yourself, but it's in the book if you want it. All right, the kick and down drill combined. What we do, we involve other players, work on the down. Showed you in the clinic session. I want to put that outside play side hand. I want to punch the crap out of their hip, out of their play side hip, and get my head in front, put my ear hole on their belt buckle, and I use that free hand to punch them in the front, and I'm trying to get movement sideways, trying to get horizontal movement down the line on these down blocks. Now, what I do is I just line them up, you know, and I'll show you another drill in a little bit. I call it the buck relay, and he'll block down or back. You don't have to be the center. It could be a guard, tackle, tight end. And then he rotates over here and becomes the kicker. And then after he does that, he'll come run over here and be the down block. And then he'll go over here and be the down block. And then he'll come over here and be the force. And after you're the force, you come back around and get in line. That way you rep it up fast as you can rep it. And again, you've got your cones or whatever it is you got on the ground, teaching these guys to get their depth. Now understand, a tackle's pull will be a little different. It's the exact same beginning, first 2 or 3 steps, but the tackle may come here and get downhill almost immediately, where a guard, especially if you've got this surface here and if you got the wing right here, if you got a tight end wing surface, the 4-man surface that plays side, it'd be a little different. And you just play with it. Put your bags down to be your down blocks and your rump line. Okay. All right, pull kick drill is exactly what it is, and this is really great if you use the down play, the classic down play. Um, Even though he won't get that depth on the down play, also on the trap. Now on the trap, I do teach them to get their depth and come downhill and get them to cross that line. And I will put a line there, like I'll do it on the line and tell them you got to cross this line or it's not a good block. Even if this cat runs up the field, I want him crossing that line, and he runs up field and they do that and kick him out. All right, so it's a pull right, pull left, hit left scenario. You strike with the outside shoulder. I mean, and work inside hip up the field. Okay, it's exactly the opposite of a down block. Okay. All right, buck drill again, play side puller versus force if he's squeezing inside, and you end up with a log. Okay, you'll strike, of course, with the different shoulder this time, and then you teach them to work their hips out. If that guy gets in right here, if he's sticking it right up in here next to the rump line, there's no way you can dig him. Okay, but I say we work on digging, 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 digging. Okay, if the force squeezes, logging. Okay, all right, pull kick to log here, boom. And this is after you've already established they know what they're doing. And you'll stand back here behind the drill or behind the drill. And you'll tell the force to either squeeze or to sit or to come upfield. Those scenarios you're going to get. And if the guy doesn't do a good job squeezing, still kick him. Okay, it's not just we're just going to log. It's pull, kick to log. Once you've taught them to log, once you've taught them to kick, then, and by the way, you're not going to be able to do this in 3 weeks for your first game. You got to be doing this all summer. We talked about that. You got to do it all summer. You got to do it in the spring. I told you I'm already doing it, and I started doing it in February. Okay, and remember, if you're going to log them, swing that butt to the sideline after contact. Remember, never go for position before contact on any block. All right, the log and down drill. This is where you got your down blocks working too. This is perfect drill for a limited number of coaches. And you got the one guy, and you try and get it. You can't send your down blockers to a different coach and your pullers to you, or vice versa. So you just put them together and you coach them the best you can. You got to have big eyes, okay? And really just and coach them up best you can. I recommend using your phone, the video on the Huddle app or the Quick Cut app, whatever it is you use for your video. And That way you can go back, you upload it, boom, and tell them, 10 minutes after practice, meet me in the office, the meeting room, a corner of the locker room. We used to have a big table in the middle of our locker room, and we'd all gather around my iPad for like 10 minutes after practice. You can get a ton of inside run and a ton of O-line drills, clips in 10 minutes or less. I mean, I say, hey, just come by. Do it before they get dressed, after they get dressed. I don't care. I recommend after. That way, you just come straight in and say, hey, y'all come here, and it'll be uploaded in a heartbeat unless you've got a horrible signal. I'm using the backside puller, and I recommend to begin with, you use one at a time. One at this. I mean, what I'm saying is just do the backside and the front side separate. And those you got your cones. It's going to do his karaoke step, go flat, eyeballing the mic. Even before you, don't let him run through to begin with. Teach the kid to come around and wrap, to find the down blocks. I've actually just stood there and been the down block, put my hands on my knees, lean forward, my eyes inside, watching him, coaching him up on his steps. And that way he gets used to seeing a butt and coming off that butt right there. Then once they get used to that, you can put down your cone or your bag right there. But we go karaoke, get your depth, get your depth. You want to put a cone right here or put a kid right here, the next kid to go and say, hey, you got to get as deep as him. He'll be standing right here, deep as him, flat, eyes right here. Okay. You can do it kind of like my old RPO drill, the numbers drill, 1 or 2, where they have to call the number. And once they learn to rap, then start inserting that mic, saying, hey, run through on a snap. Just give him a signal and run through. He has to break it off and fit up right there. All right, here's the buck drill with the backside puller versus the run through. This is once they learn to rap. Remember, teach the rap first. But don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get out in front of your skis. All right, here they are together with both pullers. Okay, you got your cones. Get your depth. Go flat, eyeballing the mic. Get around your cone. Get downhill, finding the rump line. Okay, the front side puller, same thing you did a while ago. Now you got them both going. Kadoom, coming right there, getting your kick out. These things, we do this on Thursday, versus nobody's, just cones and putting practice vests down there and say go and have them go break down, stuff like that. Get their footwork because they're not going to make a block if they don't get there. Teach them how to get there. Teach them how to get there. And this is a great drill you can do year round. Okay, unless you're in one of those heathen places that won't let you touch your kids. You can take them in the gym, you can take them in the lobby, and you can work these footwork drills. Okay. All right, buck drill, both pullers with a linebacker run through. Notice everything's an evolution. Guys, this ain't brain surgery. If it was, I wouldn't be talking about it. Okay. You just stand that back there and tell that guy to fire or to scrape. Fire or scrape. And teaching this guy, you got to come off. Okay. Let's say you've gone through 3 weeks and you haven't had a run through. And on your film study, you got a team that loves the blitz. That's their answer to a lot of things. And that week you work on it. Okay. This is with a squeezing force, both guards squeezing force, and you can come back, have a squeezing force and a run through. You incorporate it. You got it all right there. You're standing behind them, giving signals to these guys. And of course, once they go, the guy that's kicking force becomes force. The guy that's wrapping them to the linebacker becomes the linebacker, and these guys come and get in line. Pullers and a running back. This is where you get like the pod work that everybody's talking about now. We've always done this. We just never called it pods. And now I'm finding out that's what everybody calls it pods. Well, I'll jump on board with that. I always call it combo time when you got you mix in your groups. So you got your running, but it's not inside run. You're still doing this as before you come to your big group time and you're working this here. If you don't have a quarterback, if he's down working with the receivers or whatever, a coach can do it, a manager can do it, a backup can do it, and just catch the ball and hold it out. Just catch the ball and hold it out, and let them. This comes in handy later when you cover the RPOs, the buck RPOs. If the quarterback's involved, you put a guy over here holding up his fingers, training the quarterback to look. Okay, so this is a good drill for that if you're using an actual quarterback. but it can be a coach or a backup running back that's not involved in the rep. And you're doing the same drills we just talked about, okay? But now you're giving the ball, okay? You're working on your mesh, and he's coming right here, and I put the cone just outside of where the last kick will be. So if it's a tight end wing surface, the cone will be out here, okay? And of course, I run short buck. You put the cone right here. He's going to come make that 9-degree cut. Another thing I do, I like putting a coach here. I'll stand there if it's an issue and tell him come straight at me and don't touch me. And I'll stand right here. Come straight at me. And I've had them come through and just come through, pause a second, a split second, look me in the eye, and then make their cut. You've got to train them to do that. I see it all the time. I see college teams that are rounding that thing off. Guys, you're losing the stretch, making the linebackers take off running. You say, but what if we don't run sweep? We used to do this. We were under center wing T. First play of the game, or the first time we want to run buck, we wouldn't run buck. Or we'd run buck, and I'd tell the running, I'd put my fastest running back. He may have been a second or third string dude, but he could run. So take the handoff and haul butt to the sideline like it's a jet and try to get outside. Go ahead and set the tone right now. You guys got to get on your horses and run this down. So now we come back and run buck with our number one, number two running back or whatever, and come right here. Boom, he sticks it in the ground. This is a great drill for that. Kenny Simpson has a great drill with this, a great little part of the drill with this that he does. He puts a towel in the belt of the backside guy, the wrapper, and tells this guy that he's got to catch up to that towel and try to snatch it like flag football. And that gets him up in there and it teaches him to read those blocks. And the only way he can get to that towel is if he squares it off. If he rounds that sucker off, he may not get there because these guys are going to get, linemen are going to get where they need to be. They ought to, okay? Okay, wrap and read drill. This is the same thing we just talked about. Um, Teach the skip pull, keep his shoulders square. After clearing the play side A gap, that's when he should get his depth about one, even more depth, about 1 yard deeper. He gets plenty of depth off a skip pull, comes flat, looking for run through, then get depth again. And to begin with, it's going to look very mechanical, very robotic as they're trying to do it, but that's why you got to rep it over and over and over again. And I like using the quarterback on this one, letting him eyeball the wheel and do the number drill, the 1 or 2, and this sets up for your RPO. And now you're reading the wrapper. The kicker is not as important to the back, okay, because he's not reading the kicker because he wants to be close to the down blocks, the back does, okay, and be close enough to reach out and grab that towel out the back of his wrapper. So this is a good drill if you just want to practice with your wrapping. I love doing this kind of stuff during special teams. All right, buck drill with both pullers, the H or the wing back, whatever you call them in your offense, and the running back. This is sure enough pod work. Okay, what about your other tackle? He could be there working on his gap hinge with another coach. If you don't have another coach, just let him put there and work on his gap hinge. Okay, and this is stuff like this. I go 2 whistles. Say first whistle means stop and hold what you got. Stay where you are. Second whistle means it's over, go back to wherever you started from. That way the coach can look back over here. Where are you on the gap hinge? Where are you? Right, if I blow the whistle right here, are your eyes inside? Okay? Your body's going to take care of anything in the funnel there, the alley, because your body is there as long as you're tight to the down blocks. Okay? Another thing you can do with the towel thing that Kenny likes to do is put a towel in the back belt loop, the back of the pants of the last down block, and tell the wrapper that he's got to do 10 push-ups or 5 belly flops if he doesn't pull that towel out of the back of that down block. That guarantees him getting close to the rump line and being close enough to strike a match. Okay? Here's the relay that I told you about, the buck relay drill. Just look here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 linemen. And this is perfect for the type of blocking that we're talking about where everybody pulls, where everybody pulls. And you say, well, what about the tackle? The tackle doesn't pull and wrap. He's always a kicker if he pulls. Well, do you run counter? Okay. They do wrap on counter. Do you run screens? They got to turn up on screens. It's good movement. It's good football. Use your phone to record this drill. And what we'll do, we got 5 going, and let's say you're a small school, you've only got 8 or 9 linemen, okay, or 10 or 12 linemen. You put the ones that aren't involved. If you don't have enough, just let them during the off season go to spots, put stuff down on the ground, the pennies, practice vest, go to them, okay, and stop on them. And then you rotate. You blow the whistle and you rotate. So the guy that just wrapped becomes the backer. The guy that just kicked becomes no, he doesn't. I'm sorry, they just moved down the line. This is the relay. So what you do is you go, then this guy goes over here to the center spot, does a back block, which is the same as a down block. This guy comes in and becomes the wrapper. The guy that was the center now becomes the kicker. The guy that was the kicker runs back, becomes a down. The guy that did this down goes over here and does another down. Okay, then he becomes the force, and then the force becomes the backer, and then the backer goes back to the back of the line. Does that make sense? Did I explain it right? This gets all of them reps blocking down, and go fast as crap with it and use your phone. Once you teach them how to do it, go fast. Okay, this drill is great for teams with limited numbers, and especially limited numbers of coaches. And you coach them up on the video. And if you don't have time after practice to go over it with them, send it to them on Huddle. Use Huddle for what it's also social media. You need to get the kids as fired up about going on Huddle as they are about going on Snapchat and Instagram. Okay, that's it. This presentation is over. This was session 3. This was segment 3 of the first session on buck blocking. I broke it down in 3 segments. It turned out total to be over an hour with both of them. Don't forget, you can get your copy of my book, The Big Book of Bucks. This is just built into everything. And if you don't want it, you don't want it. I don't give a crap. It's up to you. All right, it's $20, and it's like a 100 different ways to run buck using the type of blocking that I talked about here. You can do it out of one back, do it out of pistol, you can do it out of eye. There's all kind of different ways to run the buck. I was really excited to see some of the coaches. I believe it was Coach Young, Coach Andrew from Union County, and he runs it out of pistol because I have seen very few people do it. And I had to really look to find some film because I remember 100 years ago when I was a young DC in North Alabama, we didn't play them. We had film on a team that played a team that ran buck out of eye. Because I was sitting at first blush, I said, "Oh, that's counter." No, it wasn't counter. As we kept looking at it, I said, "Damn, they're running buck," And I was like 32 years old. I'd never seen buck out of eye in my life the way they ran it with a handoff. We ran something like it with a toss when I was a young coach, but never with a handoff the way a lot of people are doing it. All right. I enjoyed getting to meet y'all, talk with y'all, and I'm going to be sending this out to you as soon as I can. Hey, give me a holler, send me a text. I'll save your number, email me. I just said, I'm retired. This is what I do. I'm not retired from football or coaching. I'm retired from teaching. Okay? All right, y'all have a great day, and let me know if I can help you in any way, and I will. All right, bye.